新加坡很厉害，花8个月的时间就一个决心，那时候你的副总理 Dr.Teh 就把它 set up，and then 台湾讲了17年还没成。
These three organizations contribute to government's budget revenue. It's the single biggest contributor now every year to government budget revenue. So the benefit of having this source of overseas assets and income from government is that it doesn't have to increase taxation within the country as much. The intent is really to get a higher rate of return from our overseas assets.
And I actually have today this book, 50 Secret Successes of Singapore. Actually, Dr.Teh wrote the chapter on the Sovereign Wealth Fund. I was hoping you could talk to a wider audience today about your experiences with GIC.
In the late 1970s, the world was undergoing very high inflation. Singapore by then had enough foreign exchange reserves to buffer itself against exchange rate fluctuations or against capital flows, short-term capital flows. With the support of the then Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew, maybe 20 billion of the assets over the GIC and set it up. And over the years, it has grown very much to what it is today, in terms of size, in terms of complexity, in terms of overseas officers, and so on. So you have three sources of income for the government from the Sovereign Wealth Fund. One is from GIC, one is from Temasek, and the other is from MAS. These three organizations contribute to government's budget revenue. It's the single biggest contributor now every year to government budget revenue. So the benefit of having the source of overseas assets and income from government is that it doesn't have to increase taxation within the country as much. The intent is really to get a higher rate of return from our overseas assets. The most important thing is that we have now with GIC, plus the other two, providing the government with a very important source of revenue every year. That allows the government to spend on a whole variety of things, on welfare, on defense, on healthcare, and on transportation and a whole variety of things, right? Also, I would say that you don't hear of too many corruption situations in GIC, partly because we pay well, to sort of alleviate that. And also because Singapore has a pretty stern system where if you are found to be corrupt, no matter who you are, you get punished for it. And there are no exceptions.
Which is very normal, but I think in Taiwan at the moment, my understanding is that these 5 funds that our government has are all run by civil servants. So they have civil servants immunity. And so they don't get paid a lot, but they don't get fined if they don't perform well. 所以其实我也觉得说新加坡很厉害，就是1981年花8个月的时间就一个决心，那时候你的副总理Dr.Teh 就把它 set up，and then 台湾讲了17年，从2007年到现在还没成。